Good evening. I guess this is our first Chofetz Chaim sheuir back since we left the garage at 501 Princeton Avenue. So we're back at Lifers. We're holding at day of Tuesday evening, which is the 19th of August, which is the 26th of Av. Chof of Av happens to be Satmar Rebbe's yard site. Believe it or not. Chof of where I suffered last year in Monroe. I'm not going back up there. Don't trust me. Well, anyways, let's not speak lashon hara about Heilige Yidden. So far, they got the wrong point of me, the wrong view of me. Well, that's because we have too many Rishonim that constantly chase me from one place out to the next place out as well. Well, I'm gonna learn the Chofetz Chaim lesson a day. She give a share on it, a lesson a day. Chaf of. I guess we'll do it. Little nishmas to Satmar Rebbe. Little nishmasai, and also to help Klal Yisrael eventually to grow to be a successful nation. That we should stop they should stop doing what they're doing, constantly looking into places where I am and speaking about me left and right, because it's again, even though it might be shvach, but certain people look at it as a ganai, and especially what they do, all the crazy things that they're making a whole show, and they're wasting their time in Lakewood, they're wasting their time everywhere I go, just been watching me instead of letting me do my jobs, and they do their jobs, and everybody do their jobs, and mind their own business. No, everything has to be a show about someone's ex-brother doing, so you can make fun of the world. That's all. Anyways, Yibon Shalom Yosef Nechi Yalach B'Chadash Keni Yem Chayim Nishmapi L'Shayim Lashon Hara Chilas V'Zor B'Dav Chilas Yochid Chadash Keni Klal Yisrael Chelik Mem Chadash Keni M'Sorim V'Yidei Shekadosh Baruch Hu Zor B'Dav Div Sheker Chanuf V'Nachlekes Kas Gai V'Navs T'Varim V'Navs Panu V'Tzanis Chaliba Osos Keni Shlai Dav Keni Dav Yitzach Yoni Yoni Guf Nashi Shum Yunkom V'Yis Shum Shem Shmayim. We're actually holding a little Meir by Shalim Mulchad Shenu. Since I have to do certain things, give a lesson from Shalim Mulchad Shenu, so we made a little show out on the front windshield of where I sleep in my truck. Basically, why I sleep in my truck. One of the reasons I sleep in the truck is I'm basically boycotted by the Mexican mob, by the Novminskas, and a whole bunch of people boycotted everything I do. So I hardly have any panasa coming in general. For the kind of sin that they have, the mishigas and the crazy things that they have in their heads, the loony bin heads that they have, there's nothing to talk about anymore. It's just, it's the way it is, and the world is suffering because of them. And nobody's making any part else no progress because everybody is just out to bid the next person, out to do it to the next person, to cause this person to run out of business. Next time, cause this person to sell his house, that person to sell his house, make every person broke and homeless and everything. That's what the world is basically coming to. Well, anyways, I've learned from a lot of people that end up sleeping in their cars and suffocating because of these crazy, nigga people that are trying to take over the world. That everybody should be at the melach, basically. Melach, salt. Well, anyways, let's learn the Chofetz Chaim here. Chaf of accuracy. Condition number 4. I guess this is of speaking lashon hara to Elis, which is very hard to meet every standard in any general way. As with lashon hara, one may not exaggerate kilos even for a constructive purpose. If a person harmed or is planning to harm someone else, and the victim must be informed, one may not give him an exaggerated account of what has transpired or is about to occur. Especially a lot of people think they can read people's minds so well, and then they don't understand that B'Yisham is the name of Shabbos. In 2 seconds, he can change the guy's mind, whatever the guy thought this guy's gonna do. He panicked the next guy. This guy made the whole world panic like a whole pancake, basically panic cake, and make everyone panic instead of everybody saying that everybody's good friends and this and that. They constantly building up enemies between each other by looking into other people's houses and constantly telling people this guy's doing that guy's doing that. So they should start worrying about him. And it's like the sick disease that they have people, mental disease that people have this generation, especially in Lakewood, New Jersey, that they have to always see what's the end of tit in order to make people worried. There's a lot of sickness and disease out there, and these people are one of the ones who are opening the Sam Mavis with their path for all the diseases. This applies even if the person being warned does not take the danger of the situation seriously. Furthermore, one may relate only as much information as is necessary for the purpose to be accomplished. To relate any additional information will be transgressing the provision of Achilles. Okay? So basically, I would say the main point is mind your own business. Mind your own business in your long nose. Stick your nose out of someone else's geschäft. And don't make up stories that this guy's doing that guy's doing that. And, always causing fights one each other. Shem has endowed man with sensitivity, especially with regard to matters of personal speech. Sensitivity is the speech. Even if one has become so accustomed to speaking lashon hara and so overcome by his evil inclination that forbidden talk pours from his lips without his even realizing what he is saying. Nevertheless, he should not despair through proper study and review of relevant laws. A dramatic change for the better will occur. His very nature will change, and he will find himself carefully weighing his own words as he speaks, even if he will speak but about lashon hara, words which can lead to lashon hara. So in other words, if anybody is doing any of these asagas kavod, any asagas kavod whatsoever, is definitely going to come to speaking about lashon hara, no matter what he's doing. He will take note of it and will be careful, and we will be careful not to repeat his mistake. Hashem has endowed man with sensitivity, especially with regard to matters of personal speech. This ability is a great asset in the study of Torah, for when a student initiates his thought, he can better perceive whether or not they are correct. As the sages state, for the words of Torah are life of those who express them with their mouth. However, this ability to discern is true regarding other areas of speech as well. However, such sensitivity is exceedingly weakened through habitual involvement in idle conversation, and according little thought to what one is saying. However, when one studies the laws of proper speech, and as a result become cognizant of his own verbal expression, this sensitivity returns little by little until it attains its original strength. In other words, once a person works on the utmost circumstance, and he could be saying that he wouldn't have to look into other people's houses, and wouldn't have to tell Shatron to test Chassadim for 6 months to see how they behave. Because just believe and read Shidduchim open-handed, and but people say, oh, well, what if this and what if that, what if that, what if this? If a person will just think straight and everything is fine, then things will be fine. If people always opens their mind to what if this guy's that, what if this guy's that means first of all he himself has all their problems, or she himself has all their problems, and she's thinking about that the next person. And you know, people say they need to ask, especially in general in shidduchim, people say they need to ask a lot of questions, a lot of things to find information. And where did he learn? Who were his friends? This and that. And how did his friends? Did they find out how his friends react? In other words, if they're looking into so much information, then they shouldn't even look into shidduchim. They shouldn't even look into shidduchim, because a person has to have the tzad ayin toiv. He has no tzad ayin toiv, he cannot get married. This person he simply just can't get married. There's no ayin toiv in what's called, especially when people always made things to be ayin ra to him, and he sees all the things ra. He doesn't see any good behind them. So there's no point of him marrying anybody, especially in that area. In that area whatsoever, because everything was made right to him. So the best thing is, like people tell me, and people tell others, Shanamok Shanamazel, maybe we should move to Muncie or something like that. Not that Muncie is that much better, but other places are that much better. But I was in Israel. I lived in Beit Shemesh for a little while, and they told me I'll have charata coming back to America. As soon as I came back to America, one of my ex-best followers only came to welcome me, even in the airport back. He was waiting for me to come back to make me more service. And sure enough, about a year and a half, 2 years later, after I finished Shas, they made up the thing of me on the bus. I lost my license, and all the corona came, and everything came. They did everything just to turn the world into a richistic world, Islamic world. And that's what we're suffering in this generation. We're suffering of the riches of people who think they're not even wealthy anymore. They're not so wealthy. They're not making that much money. They're just going after the kiyatzoya, their riches, as a general plan. Like I put outside of my windshield of my truck, the Mexican mob example. What did they do? They thought they'll take over everybody's business and take over the world. Right? That's what they thought. So they boycotted every single business. Meanwhile, everybody's just watching the main guys like monkeys. They don't get the right training. They don't get the right training at a job. They don't do everything professionally. They don't have the midas of doing things professionally. And they want to run the world. Think of it. And almost every average Mexican had already 16 wives, 16 girlfriends that are messed up. And we're going to learn from them how to be married and how to run our lives. We're going to learn from such people that basically they have 10 wives and they're always beating them up, and getting into fights and breaking off with this girlfriend, that girlfriend. And so, oh no, because this didn't work or that didn't work. They have every excuse in the book why they couldn't manage with this girlfriend and that girlfriend. 16 girlfriends. The head of the mob, the Mexican mob, had 16 girlfriends already, and he killed out most of them already. He got away with every one of them. Think of it. That's what we want to deal with. We want to deal with such people. We want to use them for workers, no problem, but we should let them rule our boundaries and everything that we have. By Sachmoid, by Signal, everything in the Torah. The whole system is against our Torah. Why should we have them? They could be great people for great workers, but not that we should learn from their midas and work their ways, and take over properties like them. Chas v'shalom. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this year. This is Eil Nishmas to Satmar Rebbe's yard site, Chavav of, and you should only hear Bashir Basu's Tavis and Simchas, and have a great and wonderful and joyful life out there. Enjoy your panasa every single day. I know when people make money, because when I don't make money, I don't see anybody else making money. Very simple. If I'm in shul, then everybody's in shul. I'm home, and everybody's watching me from the house on the cable internet. And you have this guy tearing down all the internet signs in the shul. I think this is going to help because he has internet himself in his house. Now he hacks other people's phones as well. He doesn't think I know who he is. Anyways, have a great, wonderful night. And Atzlocha Rabba. Sheuir, B'Suas Tavis. Let this be a bracha that we should all have. Kadesh Shimcha Makdisha Shemecha Hashem Avayav Parnasa. That everybody should have a successful time making a lot of money. I don't understand why people have such runny noses here. Because they need to blow tissues like that. Maybe I'm sleeping outside and maybe I should have such runny noses. Anyways, Atzlocha Rabba, everybody, and here in Sheuir B'Suas Tavis, everybody should have a successful business and just helping each other instead of looking into other people's things to see what to take away from the back end. Like one day my microwave is stolen, one day this is stolen, my shas is stolen. What else did they steal from me in this world? Man, they stole my music equipment. It's like, the world has come, and then they say the Mexican mob is protecting us. They're not protecting us. They're stealing everything from us. Those people, they're full of gezel. That's all it is. There's nothing to talk about.